Hello, this is Will Schlecht from Iron Crow. I wanted to do a quick demo of some new features which have recently been added to the large language model sandbox. We've added the ability to save conversations, which would include context documents and message history as well. So I'll do a quick demo to show you how this works so you'll be able to use this yourself. And just as a upfront matter, we don't save any conversations automatically. You have to kind of do this manually. So you have full control over any of the information that's actually saved onto our servers, so you can delete it at any time. And if you want to use the large language model sandbox without saving any conversations, you can do so. Just don't click the save button. Or if you do click the save button, be sure you delete those conversations. So to start with, I'll load a file into our interrogation tab as usual. Let's load this office action. And one of the nice things about being able to save conversations is if you've used this tool before, you know it can take a little bit of time to process these documents and kind of make them programmatically available to the large language models. So by saving conversations, you don't have to upload those files again, which will save you on token usage and save you time. There's really a whole bunch of nice use cases that are enabled by having these conversations able to be saved. And I'll kind of go over some of those now. So with this document, we can, do our normal interrogation process. We can ask it to please summarize the provided office action, generating some conversation history in addition to the context files that we've provided. And you can see we've got our nice summary of all the sort of substantive issues raised in the office action. So normally, or up until this point, if you logged out, signed out of your account, you would lose this information. And we had done that mostly because we wanted to ensure that no documents were ever preserved. But we know that there is some instances where it's very advantageous to have documents that you can access over and over again, even after logging out of your session, log back in and work with those documents. So in order to do that, we can save our conversation history. Just need to give it a name. So we'll call this test one, save, and that's it. It should now be saved. So to kind of illustrate this, can log back in. Usually, nothing would be here, and it's not populated yet. If you want to load a saved conversation, you can access your saved conversations from this conversation search bar. As soon as you click it, you'll get right back to the point where you saved. So we've got the message history and we've got the documents that were uploaded. And this conversation saving ability is also included in the draft tab. So they're kind of separate, so you have to separately load each conversation, but they can access the same conversation. So we can also access our test one saved conversation from this tab. And you'll notice that this doesn't include any style files because the interrogation tab doesn't have style files, so it won't have those in this tab. But you can add those. Let's just add this document. Let's say that's our sort of style, the desired writing style that we want to mimic. Maybe we're generating an initial review of an office action, and we've collected some information about that office action, and now we want to format it into a certain writing style or structure that is used for a particular client or that we just prefer, so we can have that style there. And if we want to update that test one, now the saved conversation has that style document, we can save conversation, give it the same name as before, and save it. And so that style file will also be now added to this conversation history. So you'll be able to let's see, I'll just do a test prompt, submit, just to show that we can preserve this conversation state between these two tabs by sort of saving the history. Takes a little bit. I have no idea what it's going to generate since it doesn't make any sense to tell it to test prompt. That doesn't really mean anything, but we can now save this again, test one. And what you'll see is if we load test one from this tab, it will also include, this updated information. So that's one way of sharing information between these two tabs. Maybe you want to do more of an interrogation-based workflow for a while, but then eventually you might want to draft work product like part of a patent application or an office action response. You'd be able to move that conversation history over to the draft tab and use whatever style files that you have uploaded from there. And just to kind of illustrate again that all of this information is preserved between user sessions. So we can come back. And again, this is going to be our state in these tabs is going to be all reset. Nothing is here. But we can load the test one conversation, and you can see we are back to where we were. And if you load the test one conversation from this tab, we are also back to that state, including the style file, which is specific to the draft tab. So that is a quick overview of how conversation saving and loading works. And then the last part of that sort of life cycle of these saved conversations is you can edit your saved conversations. Currently, you can just delete them. If you want to rename the conversation, you can just name it as something else and delete the old version. But whenever you're done working with these documents and you want to permanently delete them, you can do so here. It will prompt you to confirm and delete it. So we can illustrate that it's actually deleted by logging out, logging back in. Now, if you search for any conversations, this account doesn't have any conversations now because we had only saved the test one conversation. That is now gone. And you can also see that you don't have any saved conversations. So that's a quick overview of kind of how to manage conversations, how to save them, load them, and kind of work between both the interrogate and draft tabs. Hopefully that helps, and I will see you later.